A few weeks ago, the DPRK embassy inside of Spain was attacked by 10 individuals who broke in, stole folders, computer disks, laptops, all kinds of information, actually held the people in the embassy essentially at gunpoint with what turned out later to be fake guns, and at least assaulted several members of the embassy staff. Now, the identity of the perpetrators have now been made public. The group of 10 intruders identified themselves during the assault as human rights campaigners, according to a Spanish High Court document. The group's leader contacted the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation a few days later to pass on information about the raid, the document said. Now, the problem here is that these suspects are now in the United States. They've left the country, and a Spanish judge has ordered their extradition, that they be sent back to Spain to face charges for violating embassy property. And now it's up to the United States whether or not they will be extradited, where they could face, if convicted of these crimes, upwards of 28 years in prison. The State Department spokesman Robert Palladino said the U.S. government was not involved in the raid. He also called on countries to respect the embassies. Now that the attackers are safe from prosecution hiding in the United States, they've come forward to reveal their identities. The leader of the group has been identified as a Mexican citizen who is a U.S. resident, Adrian Hong Chang. He's a longtime activist who helped co-found the refugee aid organization Liberty in North Korea, and later led an organization preparing for an imminent dramatic change in the DPRK. Link said Hong was the co-founder as a college student, but had not been involved with the organization for more than 10 years. Meanwhile, at the same time, a CIA front group, the Cholima Civil Defense, has acknowledged on its website on Tuesday that it was behind the incident, but said that it was not an attack and the group had been invited into the embassy. Now, the group stole computers, hard disks, pen drives, and said that they attempted to give it to the FBI. Now, what their official story is that the intruders went into the embassy, into the basement, restrained embassy staff, beat multiple members of the staff, all to encourage the ambassador to defect to Spain. And of course, they were encouraging him to do it by beating him while he was tied to a chair. And all of this was able to be identified because one member of the staff, a woman, managed to climb out of a window and run to a nearby location where the police were contacted as to what was going on. So essentially, they're saying that they were trying to get the ambassador to defect to Spain by beating him while he was tied to a chair. This doesn't sound like they were trying to encourage him. If they had put a bunch of cash in front of him and asked him to defect, then you could call that incentivizing or trying to encourage him to do so. But they were beating him. They were carrying out an assault, which certainly seems to be almost closer to a terrorist attack rather than incentivizing defection. I mean, they broke in. The DPRK staff said they did not let that they had been let in, but they stole massive amounts, flash drives, pen drives, computers, etc., attempting to illegally collect information in violation of the laws governing embassies. They then proceeded to assault the personnel, but somehow this is just trying to incentivize them to leave and not a terrorist. In my opinion, this is straight out terrorism. This is a violent act with a political or social purpose designed to intimidate, threaten members, diplomatic staff, which is highly, highly illegal, which is why the perpetrators are looking at 28 years in prison. And isn't it wholly appropriate that an anti-North Korean group, as they say, refugee aid group, but let's face it, it's an anti-DPRK group, was founded by what is essentially, in my opinion, a terrorist. And very likely Link or Liberty in North Korea is funded by the CIA to begin with and pays defectors for their testimony, which seems to be the case of at least several high-profile defectors. So far be it from the Washington Post to simply just blame somebody without really much evidence. It seems very much that this was an operation that was planned, carried out, and was essentially a terrorist attack. And I think that's what it should be called in this situation. However, they're just calling it an attack. Hopefully the United States will do the right thing and then take the people who fled the country to avoid prosecution and extradite them back to Spain so that they can face justice. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.